Hello, Southwest students. Welcome to week 4 of Women's History Month. This week we're going to be looking at two women of different nationalities who did important things for women. One of these women is Malala Yousafzai, and Malala Yousafzai was a girl who lived under Taliban rule and was not allowed to have an education, and she was actually in school in her town, but the Taliban came in and they closed her school down. And so Malala decided that she was going to fight for the educational rights of all girls in all nations. So she actually spoke in at the United Nations conference and asked them to ensure that all girls were given a proper education. Okay? So I'm going to read you a small part of her speech from that day. Dear fellows, today I am focusing on women's rights and girls' education because they are suffering the most. There was a time when women social activists asked men to stand up for their rights, but this time we will do it by ourselves. I am not telling men to step away from speaking for women's rights. Rather, I am focusing on women to be independent, to fight for themselves. Dear sisters and brothers, now is the time to speak up. So today, we call upon the world leaders to change their strategic policies in favor of peace and prosperity. We call upon the world leaders that all the peace deals must protect women and children's rights. A deal that goes against the dignity of women and their rights is unacceptable. We call upon all governments to ensure free, compulsory education for every child all over the world. We call upon all governments to fight against terrorism and violence, to protect children from brutality and harm. We call upon the developed nations to support the expansion of educational opportunities for girls in the developing world. We call upon all communities to be tolerant, to reject prejudice based on caste, creed, sect, religion, or gender, to ensure freedom and equality for women so that they can flourish. We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back. We call upon our sisters around the world to be brave, to embrace the strength within themselves, and to realize their full potential. Dear brothers and sisters, we want schools and education for every child's bright future. We will continue our journey to our destination of peace and education for everyone. No one can stop us. We will speak for our rights and we will bring change with our voice. We must believe in the power and the strength of our words. Our words can change the world because we are all together, united for the cause of education. And if we want to achieve our goal, then let us empower ourselves with the weapon of knowledge, and let us shield ourselves with unity and togetherness. Dear brothers and sisters, we must not forget that millions of people are suffering from poverty, injustice, and ignorance. We must not forget that millions of children are out of schools. We must not forget that our sisters and brothers are waiting for a bright, peaceful future. So let us wage a global struggle against illiteracy, poverty, and terrorism, and let us pick up our books and our pens. They are our most powerful weapons. One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. Education is the only solution. Education first. So her words are extremely powerful in what she's saying. She's saying that everyone deserves an education, and not everyone gets one. And before, there are times in American history where women were not allowed to have an education. So those words are extremely impactful, and what she's saying makes sense. Okay? So you're going to watch a video more about her today to learn more information about what she did, and who she is, and where she came from, and why she's important to women's history. The second figure that we're going to learn about today is Dr. Ellen Ochoa. And Dr. Ellen Ochoa was the first Hispanic female in space. So she was an astronaut who had to work really hard to make her dreams come true because she wanted to be an astronaut. And it was extremely difficult for a woman, and not only a woman, but a Hispanic female, to be a part of the space program. So she was the first Hispanic female to be an astronaut. So some of the things that she said about becoming an astronaut were, she said, what everyone in the astronaut corps shares in common is not gender or ethnic background, but motivation, perseverance, and desire. The desire to participate in a voyage of discovery. When she was asked how she became a astronaut, she said, I tell students that the opportunities I had were a result of having a good educational background. Education is what allows you to stand out. And this is what she said about being the first Hispanic woman. She said, this was the last astronaut job that was not yet done by a woman. Now, with this milestone, we can focus on the fact that what is important is to succeed in life. It does not matter if you are a man or a woman. And she said this about her career. Being an astronaut is a wonderful career. I feel very privileged. But what I really hope is for young people is that they find a career they're passionate about, something that is challenging and worthwhile. So she was a very humble astronaut, and she worked really extremely hard to become an astronaut. So you're going to watch a video about her and learn more about her story, okay? But this week, while you are watching videos, I want you to think about, both of these girls had a dream. Malalia's dream was to get an education, okay? Ellen's dream was to become an astronaut. What dream do you have for your life? How can you work to achieve that dream? So what do you need to do? Okay? What did Malalia and Ellen do to make their dreams come true? So I want you to answer those questions for this week. I want you to tell me what those were. And I will tell you my dream really quickly. So my dream was to be a teacher. Because as a kid, I didn't feel as though I had a teacher that cared about me. And so I became a teacher to let students know that I care about them and that I love them and that I can teach them something. So I love all of you. I hope you have a wonderful spring break. I will see you again on the week of April the 12th. Enjoy your spring break, and I'll see you then. Have a good rest of the week. Goodbye.